exception of Asian men, all groups make less than white men when we talk about median hourly earnings. This especially impacts black women.
What?
Black women make 62 cents for every dollar that white men make.
Oh my gosh.
And we also make 79 cents for every dollar that white women make. Not to mention that white people are able to profit off of industries that have historically penalized black folks.
Alright, she's nitpicking, bro.
Works in 3 distinct ways. First, white privilege provides white people with perks. Some perks go unnoticed, like being able to actually use complimentary shampoo and conditioner at a hotel.
What? I think this is a joke.
Have you, or anyone that you know, ever had trouble hailing a cab? If your answer is no, then you might have white privilege. Here's how it works.
What?
See your child when you look at it.
Well, unless you live in a major city, you won't be catching a cab. I don't think most people nowadays, especially my generation, have ever even had to catch a cab. It's just Uber. You just... Anyway, that kind of... I don't know how this even ties to white privilege, but anyways, let's continue.
Look at David, age 9.
From the moment a white person is born, they're afforded certain privileges. While the extent and nature of their privilege varies from country to country, one thing's consistent. If you're white, society be like, you out here winning. So what's white privilege? In the words of Peggy McIntosh, a white scholar who started studying white privilege in the 1980s, white privilege is an invisible package of unearned assets that I can count on cashing in each day, but about which I was meant to remain oblivious. In her...
Is this a real video? I don't know if this is like satire or real, but I'm just going to approach it from the perspective that this is real. And what I say about this, because she brought up students, white students specifically, and a woman from the 1980s. Did you know that there are scholarships specifically for black people? I'll take it a step further. There are scholar portals, like college funds specifically for black people. I don't mean one scholarship. I mean like entire funds that have hundreds of scholarships, maybe even thousands, just for black people. And I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, for you to sit here and act like in 2024 that there isn't a privilege that comes with being a African American student, you're just wrong. I'm not gonna lie, you're wrong. And when people try to act like, oh, black people have a harder time of moving up the economical ladder, I don't think that's true. I don't think skin color, I don't think that's necessarily true. And the reason I say this is because, let's say you are a young black person, boy or girl, and let's say you want to go to an Ivy League college or even a high-ranking college, you automatically have a higher chance of getting in. Like, automatically. And it's simply due to the fact that less black people by percentile go to higher ranked colleges. Meaning that if they're trying to meet a quota, you will literally automatically get a higher chance of going in just because you're black. And college is the #1 way to wealth currently in the United States. I don't know if it will be like that in 5 to 10 years, but right now, it's the #1 way to wealth for young people if you take out the student debt. And even when it comes to student debt, I don't know of a college fund specifically targeting disadvantaged white people. I can't name one. I genuinely cannot name one. And it's a lot of disadvantaged white people. The average white person or family, I forgot, earns $68,000 a year in America in 2024. If you're a mom earning $68,000 a year, even if you have a husband who also earns $68,000 a year, do you think you can send 2 kids to college and pay for their college through and through? No, you cannot. White, black, Asian, it don't matter. You cannot do it. But if that young kid figures out that, wow, just because I'm white, there's no college fund for me, especially if my parents make that much, which is 130,000. One of y'all, maybe one kid can go to college, but I promise you both aren't going. Not for free or not with a crap ton of debt. So I don't want to hear it, bro. I don't want to hear it, but let's continue to see what she actually has to say.
Essay, White Privilege, Unpacking the Invisible Knapsack, McIntosh even detailed dozens of examples of white privilege that she experiences in day-to-day life. For example, white folks are able to turn on the television and see someone who looks just like them. She even details things like being able to find band-aids that match her skin.
Oh my gosh. Turn on the television to see people who look just like you? I I'm black and you're also black. If the people are watching this on their phones or computers. So there are, I don't know what race of people, but they are watching two black people right now. Like, bro, this is unreal. This is unreal. You said they could turn on television. In modern times, there are a million streaming platforms. You can turn on your television and watch literally whatever you want. Like, I'm not even making this up. You can watch literally whatever you want. Race doesn't matter. In social media, you can see literally with any race of people. And right now, people are watching two black people. Bro.
Works in 3 distinct ways. First, white privilege provides white people with perks. Some perks go unnoticed, like being able to actually use complimentary shampoo and conditioner at a hotel. These perks lead to a sense of entitlement because whiteness is the standard.
You can use that.
Imagine how white women would react if hotels only carried Shea Moisture.
This is not, I think this is a joke. I genuinely don't know if this is real or not because I was actually just at a hotel. I went to an engineering convention and I used the complimentary. I actually used it. It smelled really nice. I didn't know that wasn't for black people. I thought maybe I wasn't supposed to use that. I thought it was for everyone. Oh, I guess not.
Privilege also creates measurable advantages. A white person is more likely to be approved for loans than black folks, and that's part of what has led to disparities in home ownership. Under 42% of black folks are homeowners compared to 72% of white folks. And what about jobs?
I would have to look into that statistic about being approved for home ownership because if that's true, there could be something there. I do know there was a case study or a case just done that did prove a disadvantage for African Americans. I don't know where it was though. It was a case study. I don't know if that's true nationwide. But when you brought up the statistic of 44, wait, I'm gonna try to bring it up, y'all. 41.3% of black people being homeowners versus 71.9%, and try to use this to justify racism. You also have to use this to, I mean, this also implies that white culture and black culture are 100% equal. And if that were the case, then this could be used to justify your argument. But that's not true. There are certain things within the average Caucasian American culture or the average African American culture, if that's what you want to call it, or use those phrasing. But as you know, in that as black people or African American people, as we know, you don't want people imposing on your culture. Like you said, the same way you brought up the hotel only having shampoo that white people can use or not having Shea Moisture, wouldn't that be considered a cultural thing in the black community? Exactly. So you're kind of contradicting yourself. But this statistic right here implies that both people have done the same thing throughout their lives, have lived the same lives, all their communities are 100% equal, and that's not the case. As you know, white people also go to college at higher rates. As a percentile, black people also have more fathers in the homes. This is not stuff that I'm saying that I'm making up. This is true, and it is significantly higher rates. And those directly impact home ownership. So you're really going to sit here and tell me that although they go to college at higher rates, although as a race they commit less violent crimes, although as a race they have more fathers in the homes, I'm not saying they're better. I'm not saying that. These are statistics. These are true, that we should have the same home ownership. That would actually lead to more equality in favor of the black community. But if you have anything to disagree with me, comment down below. I'm open to hear it, but let's continue.
% of white folks. And what about jobs? With the exception of Asian men, all groups make less than white men when we talk about median hourly earnings. This especially impacts black women.
What?
Black women make 62 cents for every dollar that white men make.
Oh my gosh.
And we also make 79 cents for every dollar that white women make. Not to mention that white people are able to profit off of industries that have historically penalized black folks. Just look at marijuana. According to the ACLU, the use of weed is pretty much the same among black and white people, yet black folks are nearly 4 times as likely to be arrested for possession. And when it comes to banking off of the billion-dollar industry, black folks are shut out. About 1% of dispensary owners in the US are black. Yep, that has white privilege written all over it. And folks, we're only talking about weed here. The fact that there are major disparities in incarceration rates based on race is no surprise. Finally,
alright, she's nitpicking, bro. She's nitpicking. And the problem that I have with this is that some of the things she's saying may possibly be true. I can't really denounce them because I haven't looked into the statistics involving this. But when you brought up prison or marijuana or stuff like that, I don't know the statistics regarding that. But I do know that in black culture, certain things are pushed on a wide scale. And don't try to fake like it's not. Don't try to pretend like, well, that's not. No, you know it's true. Let's be 100 here. Let's keep it a buck. Our number one genre of music in our community literally pushes weed or literally pushes activities that are bound to get you in prison. I'm not trying to put up another community. I'm not doing that at all. I'm just saying that's the case in our community. Rap music, people, it's that's what it does. And I'm not saying all of it does it, but gangster rap music does it. That's specifically for the black community. It was invented by the black community. So when you try to say, well, you know, the prisons are, or when I don't know the statistics behind that, and I don't necessarily know if that's true. But when you have a culture who literally pushes one of the most violent types of music, I mean, why wouldn't you expect the culture to follow suit? It just makes sense. And I'm not saying it's right, but it literally just makes sense.
White privilege has pretty much come to shape everyone's view of history. Everything we've ever learned in schools, every face on our cash money, damn near every page in textbook centers white people and has been written from the white perspective. These are the faces of our nation's heroes. Why does this matter, you say? Well, white privilege literally affects everything.
Income, education, employment, incarceration, spending, housing, and even assembling.
Real talk. Do we think that a black person can protest while being armed and live to see the next day?
This is actually unbelievable to watch. This is unbelievable to watch because she's actually very serious. It's kind of sad when I watch this because this is probably a good woman in life. She probably thinks she's doing the right thing here, but this is not helping anyone. I haven't heard one thing in this video within the past 12 minutes that actually you can say to a black person or a young black child that will improve their life. I haven't heard one thing at all. She brought up a lot of statistics about prison rates, about marijuana rates, about education. I didn't look into every statistic, so I don't know all of the statistics off the top of my head. You can look it up and bring it back to me. I'll greatly appreciate that. But when it comes to improving a community, she didn't name one thing. The only thing I heard was you're a victim. You're a victim, and it's not your fault. You don't have to pursue higher education. You don't have to get a master's degree. Only 5% of the people who go to college who are black even get a master's degree. That's in any subject at all. You don't have to start a trade. You don't have to graduate high school. You don't have to grow up and try to get married or start a family or be there for it. You don't have to do any of that because it's not your fault. It's not your Forget fault. It's not even your responsibility. White people need to do it for you. And when you talk about white privilege, people always, they leave out Asian people. They leave out Latino people. And I'm not letting it go. I'm going to keep saying it. Why do you leave out other races when you talk about white privilege? America's not just black and white, figuratively and literally. But anyways, I digress. If you have any suggestions for me, comment down below.